Welcome, I'm Carly. This sequence is for grounding and balancing. We're going to work on strengthening the muscles such as the balance muscles around your ankles and your knees. We'll be doing quite a few standing balances such as Warrior 3 and Tree Pose. I recommend you have your mat alongside a wall so you can lean against the wall for support if need be, or have a chair at the front or to the side of the front of your mat. This sequence addresses balance both in the mind, the spirit, and the body. It's a holistic practice. We're going to begin with nostril breath, which balances your energy and the left and right hemispheres of your brain and therefore your body. So take a minute, sit comfortably with your legs crossed and lean back a little, and you'll notice that you feel your sits bones underneath your hips. So then you know you're sitting straight. Let your shoulders fall comfortably down your back. Engage Uddiyana Bandha, so you're pulling your stomach in and up just slightly. It's not a lot of effort, it's just a little bit of support. Close your eyes. Now, send your awareness to the connection points under your hips. Be aware of your sits bones and all the places under your hips that connect to the ground beneath you. Just be completely aware of that place. And I'm going to continually draw your attention back to whatever your connection points are to the earth during this practice, because that is a big piece of balance. Being grounded, being conscious of where your body is connecting to the earth at any given moment. And when we bring our awareness to these places and with intention we connect to them strongly, that helps our balance. I have done a similar sequence to this for people who have a lot of trouble with balance, and this grounding process, they'll do a pose before it, then the grounding process, and then afterwards their balance is significantly improved. So you're resting your awareness, and you might also want to be aware of where the sides of your feet are touching the ground. And we're going to begin with alternate nostril breathing. So open your eyes now. Take a moment and notice as you inhale, do you feel a greater sensitivity or awareness of the air going in the left or the right nostril? There's no wrong answer here, just notice it. And you might not feel one more, which is okay. In fact, that's great. That means you're balanced. If you feel more awareness of it coming in your left nostril, that also means you're probably feeling a bit low on energy. If you're feeling it in your right, you probably have a little bit more energy. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just where you are in this moment. For the purpose of this practice, we're going to begin breathing through the right because we want to increase our energy a little bit. Oh, I also want to do an addendum that if you have your period and you're feeling sluggish, that can also affect your balance. And this is a good practice for you. I have my period now. I'm feeling very bloated and unbalanced, and I'm therefore not going to be doing inversions. So this is safe for you if you don't want to do inversions. Okay, so let's begin the nostril breath. There's two options. You can do this with your hand, or you can do this. Put a finger on your left nostril and And then inhale through your right. Slow and steady. Take a beat at the top to pause. Switch fingers, switch nostrils, and then exhale through your left. Inhale through the same nostril. Pause at the top, switch, exhale through the right. Inhale through the right, pause at the top, switch nostrils, exhale through the left. Inhale again through the left, and it goes back and forth. So let's do that for a couple of minutes. If you have a blocked nose and this is hard for you, then you can just begin your Ujjayi breath. And you can also so keep doing the nostril breath, but if you have a blocked nose and you can't breathe through one nostril, that's fine. You can do your Ujjayi breath in through your nose and out through your nose, or you can do circular breathing, in through your nose, out through your mouth. Whatever works for you, obviously, in this moment. A couple more breaths doing the alternate nostril breathing. This is so good for balancing your mood, balancing your energy levels, and also helps with the physical balance. Okay, now you can let your hand drop and let's begin your Ujjayi breath. Sitting back again, remembering your center, and that's part of it. We tend to lean forward in a lot of different poses, so just bringing that awareness to where your heart is in this position. So your heart is over your hips and your head is over your heart. And that may mean you tilt your chin up slightly. Let your ear, your right ear, gently fall to the right side. And you're just getting a gentle stretch. The side of your neck, letting your shoulders fall down. If you have a tight jaw or you clench your jaw, you'll want to turn your head a little bit to the ceiling and you'll feel it in the front of your neck. Switch sides. Now let your right hand fall to the ground next to your hip and come for a side body. Rather than sinking deep into the ground, I want you to think about lifting up and sinking both hips into the ground. So try not to let a hip lift. Switch sides. You may want to do a half circle around in front of you and come to the other side. We're going to do that one more time. So if you want to do the half circle, come forward, back to the other side. Forward, around to the other side. And then back to center. Beautiful. Now just start doing circles, drawing circles with your hips, or it might be more helpful to think about doing circles with your whole torso. Your hands are on your knees and you're just slowly leaning forward, to the side, back, to the other side. So that's the pace, no faster than that. If you feel a little hip popping, you might want to make your circle a little bit smaller. And then switch directions. Just gently warming up the spine and the hips. And then we're going to come into table pose for cat and cow. If you're anything like me, you have to pull your pants up every 5 seconds. Wrists are under your shoulders, knees are under your hips. Inhale, lift your head, drop your stomach, expand your heart. Exhale, drop your head, pull your stomach in and up and hunch your shoulders. And then you can just move back and forth on your breath. On your inhale, you're dropping your stomach. On your exhale, you're dropping your head. We're going to come into opposite arm and leg balance. So you're going to lift your right arm up, straight ahead, palm facing inwards, then lift your leg up. Now, you may find your back sways, so engage Uddiyana Bandha, the abdominal lock. Lift your stomach in and up. Try not to have a really sway back. Now come into awkward airplane. So your arm and leg go out to the side slightly, and it should feel awkward. Bring your hand to the ground and keep lifting that foot all the way to the side so it's in line with your knee that you're leaning on. Then bend that leg so your knee is at a right angle. I like to think of this as like a dog peeing, I think really helps. And then you're just doing little knee lifts. So your lifted leg is at a right angle. You're engaging Uddiyana Bandha here. And you're just doing really incremental small movements. Don't worry, you haven't accidentally turned on a Pilates class. This is just a really gentle warm-up. Your leg doesn't need to be at a complete right angle. That's super hard. So you're just wherever your edge is. And you're getting that outside hip. Keeping Uddiyana Bandha engaged protects your back. Now drop that knee down. Take your hips back towards your feet and then just let your hips fall to the outside left. So your feet will go off to the side and you'll be resting on your left hip. And you should feel a little gentle stretch. It should feel nice after that. Your arms are straight and you can let your head drop if that feels good. Make your way back up to table. Now we're going to do the opposite arm and leg. So lifting your right leg and your left arm, palm facing in, engage Uddiyana Bandha, pulling your stomach in and up. Awkward airplane, out to the side. Bring your hand down, take your foot all the way out to the side so it's in line with your left knee. Then bend that leg at a right angle and do your little knee lifts or dog peeing. It's just really small, incremental. Try not to bend one arm. A lot of the time we do that. The wrong parts of our bodies tend to compensate for whatever position we're in. So have your arms be straight. Bring your knee back down, drop your hips towards your feet and over to the right side. So the only inversions we're really doing are downward dog. And obviously anything that doesn't feel right for your body today, you just skip it. You can always take a child's pose. Come back up. Take your knees back a couple of inches, tuck your toes and lift your hips up into downward facing dog.
So your knees can be really bent here, as bent as you want them to be, but you want to think about creating an upward energy from your hands all the way to your hips. And make sure your head is in between your arms, not dropping forward or lifted, unless you need to look at the screen, obviously. Walk the dog a moment. We're going to do a few sun salutations to warm up. So on your exhale, look forward and walk your feet toward your hands for a gentle forward fold. Your knees can be really bent here if that feels right. On your next inhale, lift halfway up with a flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweeping your hands out to the side. Knees can be bent as you come to standing, hands above your head. Exhale them back down, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat, step back to plank. Hold a breath here. Or don't hold your breath, rather just breathe here for a moment. Never hold your breath in yoga. On your next exhale, lower slowly. On your next inhale, roll your shoulders back, lift your head and heart, pulling your hands isometrically towards your feet so your heart is forward. The tops of your feet are on the ground and you're rooting in to your thighs, which creates this opposite action of lifting up through your heart. Cobra. Downward facing dog. Back to creating the triangle. On your next exhale, walk your feet to your hands, forward fold. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise to standing, hands above your head. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway, flat back. Exhale, plant your hands on the mat, step back with the opposite foot and lower to the ground on your exhale. Inhale, rolling into cobra. Pushing your way back through your knees to downward facing dog. This is the third and final salutation warm-up, and I'm going to talk you through the minutiae of it just a little bit more, where it relates to balance. On your exhale, look forward and walk your feet to your hands. Forward fold. Your knees can be as bent as they need to be here. Inhale, lift halfway, flat back. Now think about this and breathe in this place for a moment. Pulling your shoulders back, engaging them down your back away from your ears, engaging Uddiyana Bandha here. And feel your feet connected to the ground. Your knees can be as bent as they need to be, but your core, your upper body is engaged. Forward fold. Inhale, rise to standing with soft knees, hands above your head. Exhale them to your side. Now take a minute here and feel your feet connected to the earth. Have your knees soft, so like bounce them a little so you know they're not locked out. Now feel what connection points are touching the earth. Is it the outside of your feet, the ball of your feet, your toes, your ankle? Try to have an even balance of all those points. So make any adjustments. And if you have some imbalances in your hips or your knees, that may be too hard. So only do the amount of that adjustment that feels safe for your joints. So you're creating that evenness in your feet. Your knees are soft. Now engage Uddiyana Bandha, pulling all your lower core. Think about zipping up jeans, zipping it all up. Elongate your lower back, like unfurl your lower spine. It's not tucking, it's lengthening. Roll your shoulders back and down. Your chest is expanded. Tilt your chin slightly so it's in line. So now you have a really beautiful, balanced standing pose. Just bring some awareness to how this feels. This is your body awareness. Beautiful. Inhale your hands up above your head. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway out of Uttanasana. Exhale, plant your hands and step back with the opposite foot. Lower slowly. Up dog and downward facing dog. Walking the dog. Anchoring your mind to your breath or to the felt experience in your body. Inhale your right leg high behind you. Bend the knee and stack the hips. Exhale it forward between your hands, rise into crescent. So you're on your back ball of your foot here. We're not in warrior one. And I just invite you to push off the ball of your back feet and you'll play with the balance here. And you may notice that as you do that, you sort of seesaw a bit deeper into the pose. So if your balance is feeling really off in this pose, you can walk your front foot out a little bit more so you're creating a wider position. Hands are above you. So now we're going to step into warrior three. I'm going to show you first so you can look before you do it. So staying in crescent, looking, you're stepping forward into. Now your hands can be behind you, to the side or in front. You can hold a chair, you can touch the wall, whatever you need to do. And then we're going to step back to crescent. So let's do it together. Grounding into that front foot. So feel your connection points in that front foot, as we talked about earlier. And then lifting off your back foot, come into whatever version of this works for you. And if you're wobbling, that's awesome. Embrace it, because then your balance muscles are really working, right? Every time you do a little wobble, they're working. Step back to crescent. Beautiful. And it's not about what it looks like. I mean, look at me. You know, there's nothing perfect about it. It's just about the practice. Exhale your hands to the mat. Step back to plank. Flow through your vinyasa. You can be in up dog or cobra, whatever works now. And you can always skip your vinyasa and go straight to down dog. Inhale your left leg high, stack your hips, bend the knee, arms are straight. Exhale your foot between your hands, rising into crescent. You're on the back ball of your toes. Remember, engaging Uddiyana Bandha, lengthening your spine, seesaw a bit. You playing with the balance, feeling the connection points under your front foot and under your ball of your back foot. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to step forward into warrior three. Really feel the connection points under your front foot. And then step off. Embrace the balance. Some days I don't wobble at all, and some days it's super hard for me. And the days where it's hard are the days where this practice is the best for you, where you're getting the most out of it. Slowly step that lifted foot all the way back to crescent. Beautiful. Be kind to yourself. Be compassionate and loving to yourself. This has got to be the practice all the way through. Exhale your hands to the ground. Step back to plank. flow through your vinyasa. Walk the dog. On your next exhale, walk or hop forward to your hands. Now, final time in forward fold. Feel the connection points under your feet to the earth and let the impetus of pushing up through those connection points make your body roll up one vertebrae at a time, finishing with a shoulder roll. We're going to come into a final balancing sequence involving tree. So first, ground into your right foot. So what that means is the outside edge, bottom part of your right foot, just roll back and forward on it. We don't have the time for me to say all the benefits you're getting from this, because I know this can feel a little bit like, well, what's the point? What am I doing here? But there's a lot of value in it in a lot of different philosophies, not just yoga, but also it's bringing your awareness to it, and where you place your attention is where you place your energy. So now come onto the balls of your feet and go left to right. You're stimulating that area. It's easier to send your awareness there. So when you're in tree and you're balancing on your foot, your awareness rests there more easily, and it really, really helps with your balance, trust me. Now, come forward onto the back of your toes. So your toes are tucked under and you're going left to right again. So this area, the tops of your toes, right across that top strip of your feet, in reflexology relates to your head and neck, tension in your head and neck. You're effectively doing reflexology on your feet, parts of that, because you're stimulating the different parts of your foot here. And there's also, in your big toe, there's a nadi, an energy meridian in the yoga school of thought. So there's a lot of stuff in your feet. They're kind of a microcosm of the macrocosm of your body. Okay, so now come onto your heel and just gently go all around the outside of your heel and in the middle. So you're kind of applying pressure to all the points of your heel. Beautiful. Okay, so now have enough room behind you that you can stick a leg out straight behind you. Place your both feet on the ground, and you'll notice that your right foot feels more connected to the ground. Okay, so that's what we've done. So keeping that right leg strong, come up into tree. You can have your toes on the ground, on a calf, or on the thigh, anywhere except the knee joint. So whatever version of tree you're in, think about your standing leg, your trunk leg. Engage the knee, which protects the joint, and it's an equal meeting of pressure with both the foot and the leg. Now I invite you to think about roots coming down through your leg, really strong weighted roots like fingers through your foot and into the earth. And it's helpful for me to think about them being really weighted and kind of gripping, locking you down and connecting you to the earth. So think about that, and it's grounding you. And this is obviously also a form of grounding, which is really good for you. Engage Uddiyana Bandha. Your whole trunk is strong, so the branches of your lifted leg and your arms can flourish in safety. So your mudra is wherever you want it to be, whatever feels right for your body in this moment. And your drishti should be, so notice where your drishti is now. And then if you tilt your chin up so it's in line with your spine, how we talked about earlier, you might notice that your drishti, your gaze is out quite a bit further. So that's where your gaze should be, because you shouldn't be tilting your head down. It should be in alignment. Now the option here is to take that lifted leg, keep it holding up, and come forward into a warrior three. Then we're going to try to come back into tree without dropping your foot the whole time. So taking it and lifting it behind, Remember, the wobbles are our friend. Adjusting, taking that left hip down a little if it was uneven, if it was lifted up. And your hands can be behind you, out to the side, forward, whatever works. You may find a little fatigue in your ankles or your feet at this stage, and then slowly lifting that foot back. You can come back into tree, or you can bring your left ankle in front of your standing knee and sink down with your elbows on the inside of your ankle and your knee for a final balance. So you're either in tree or this. Your hands can be on the ground if you need them to be. And then come back up, place them on the ground. So take your right foot and just give it a little squeeze, because it was just doing a lot of work and you might feel tension in little parts of it. Give it a roll, squeeze your toes. Great job. All right, so now let's do the grounding on the left foot. So back and forth on the outside edge. And then on the balls of your feet, left to right. Remember, this section is all about the head and neck in reflexology. And then tuck your toes under. So you should feel a stretch in the top of your foot, all down the metatarsals. And if you get your big toe, that's a nadi, which is an energy meridian in yoga. And then come onto the heel. Kind of, I must look ridiculous here, but you're sort of getting all the way around the outside of your heel and in the middle. And sometimes for women, if you're in a lot of like stiletto heels, you'll get calcification under your heel, so it can be a little tender. Okay, so standing on that leg, coming into your version of tree, engaging the knee on your standing leg, protecting the joint. Visualize roots sinking down through your foot, gripping you and anchoring you deep into the earth. Your mudra is wherever you want it. Your shoulders are soft, your core is engaged. It's not the other way around. So notice that throughout your day. Are you holding tensions in your shoulders and your core is just bleh? It should be the other way. Your core is engaged, supporting your body, so your shoulders can relax. And we all do it, so don't go, oh God, I do that. My shoulders are always tight and I'm not engaging my core. Like, everybody does that. Let's just be kind to ourselves. And when we remember it, then that's awesome. And we try it and we get better because it's a practice. Take that foot, lift it up and try without dropping it to come into Warrior 3, whatever version works for you. It can even help to just, here, if I can reach the wall there, you can push your foot flat against the wall and that can really help with sinking a little deeper. And then slowly try not to drop your foot, take it back to tree or bring that ankle in front of your left knee. Bring your elbows on the inside of your ankle and the inside of your knee, and you create a little bracket with your body. If you can't touch your elbows to the ankle and the knee, then this would be a lot harder. That's what creates the bracket for the balance, is the touching. And then slowly come up and out of it. You might need to massage that standing leg foot. So you'll notice you feel it a little bit more in your foot when you're doing the switching balances, because your foot muscles are working on the balance. So if nothing else, I hope you've got to this experience that your feet are really important with balance. So bring more awareness to them. Okay, so now we're going to come down to the mat and we're going to come into pigeon. If pigeon doesn't feel good for your body, you can come into supine figure 4. So you're lying on your back and your left foot is in front of your right knee. You're clasping behind your right thigh. Alternatively, for pigeon, your left knee is forward and your right leg is behind you. Take a look and check that your foot is in line with your hips and not out to the side. Regardless of which position you chose, the toes closest to your face need to be pulled back just a little bit. And what that does is it protects your knee joint. So it activates your knee joint, ensuring that you're stretching safely and not just stretching your joint. And then you can just soften everything else. So I find it helpful as you inhale, you're expanding, and then as you exhale, you just sink a little bit deeper. Coming up, rolling onto the outside of that front thigh, switch legs. Remember keeping those toes closest to your face active. Coming up, bringing that back leg forward and lying down. We're going to finish with a supine twist before happy baby. So straightening out your right leg, take your bent knee across your body, tee your hands out to the side. Come back to center, switch legs. Bringing your right knee across your body. If you get an adjustment at this point, that's good because your body is warm enough that it's just rebalancing itself. Trust your body's wisdom. And as we're gearing up for a short savasana here, just bring your awareness back to the breath. And if your mind starts to wander, don't have judgment because that's its job. Just let go of the thought and anchor your mind back to your breath or back to the felt experience in your body right now. Both of those things bring you into this moment completely and into your body. So we're going for present moment and embodiment. And both these things are crucial for balance. How can you be balanced if you're not fully grounded in your body? Coming back to center and then bringing your knees up on the outside of your torso, come into happy baby. No baby ever has just sat there holding their feet still. So move around, get funky with it. However it feels right for you. I'm a big fan of exploring the poses. And if you want to have a blanket over your body for Savasana, or close the doors or turn the lights off, I invite you to pause this video and do that now. And otherwise, you can settle in to your resting pose. Lying down, allow your feet to fall just a little bit apart from each other. Allow your hands to fall a little bit away from your body. And I hope you don't skip this part. If you made it all the way through, do this, because this is the gift. This is the good stuff right here. You earned this rest. You can give yourself this 5 minutes. Closing your eyes. Release any tension from your forehead. Softening the muscles around your eyes. Releasing any tension from your jaw. On your exhale, allow your shoulders to spread out on the mat. On your next exhale, feel your hips sink deeper into the mat. Relax your feet. Relax your toes, the pads of your feet, your arch. Have intention now to just breathe out any remaining tension in your feet. And let go of all the things you have to do after this. They will be there for you in a couple of minutes. Give yourself this gift of being fully expansive in the spaciousness of this moment with no thoughts. Just you, your body, your breath. If you want to stay here, then just tune me out. Otherwise, roll onto your right side. Push yourself up to a comfortable seated position.
Bringing your hands into prayer mudra. Thank you so much for practicing with me today. And I hope that you have a grounded and balanced day. Namaste.